All right, welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020 here with WCW 2005 as we're continuing on the road to Slamboree as this is the next to last week of build-up as we're going to solidify some matches even though this should be pretty obvious and getting some feuds, but let's get rolling here on Nitro live from the beautiful in Roanoke. So let's get rolling with the show as of course out comes Eddy Guerrero, who comes out and basically calls out Kanyon, asking him what the hell was going on. Happened last week when Kanyon ran in and basically, ended the match versus Brother Rey, causing the DQ. And Kanyon basically says, Eddy, you both know this isn't over between us. We gotta do this one more time in a way where either of us can deny who's actually the better man in that ring. I know it, you know it, everybody in this crowd knows it. And he's like, SA, you're an SOB, but in this case, you're actually right. But here's the reality. We fought a lot of ways, triple threat matches. And every time, we both think we have a reason why I didn't win. We need a match to determine, for the final time, who actually is the better man between us. We could have a strap match. We could have a Iron Man match. We could have a Fall Count Anywhere match. A Texas Death match. Holmes, I know you got reasons why they don't work. Well, here's the reality, Eddy. Fall Count Anywhere, Texas Death, we both know, we figured out a reason why. Some getting pinned in the middle of a street or on top of the ramp wouldn't actually determine who the better wrestler is. And Iron Man, hey, there's lots of ways to screw that over. And we can't get up a ladder because we got nothing to fight over. Because I'm sure we put over money, but really, truly want to determine who's better than Kanyon. But I've been thinking, and Kanyon's been thinking, we're both world champions, former world champions. We're both the best in the world. And I think there's only one true way to prove that you're never going to be better than me, Eddy. That's 2 words, 9 letters, KHT. Pop for that. And he's like, wait for him and says, I bet you're going to think I'm back away for this, Holmes. But no. See, I'm world champion. I'm a warrior. I'm the best in the world for a reason. And Guerrero Family Value says at Slamboree, I will walk out of KHT one more time as the undisputed winner and prove that that you're never going to be better than Kanyon. I beat you before. I'll beat you again. And that's just going to be the sad fact of the matter that Kanyon you're going to have to live with. Eddy, Kanyon sort of smiles and says, Eddy, you may think all you want, talk about fair and fan videos and all you want, and yeah, you beat me 4 on Sky was Online, but in KHT, I'm going to prove that nobody's better than Kanyon. So there we go, another big match set up for Slamboree, as it's going to be Eddy and Kanyon one more time. Sort of the actual blow-off of their feud in a KHT match. So this gets 100. As the entrance then put over, it's also been signed a big 6-man tag match for tonight, as this gets 100 because it's great. As it's going to be basically all big 3 feuds that are actually continuing. It's going to be Eddy Guerrero, Jonathan Toro, and Jeff Jarrett taking on Brother Rey, Kanyon, and Sharon O'Hare in a big 6-man main event, along with all their matches signed for tonight. As we move forward, as basically Billy Kidman, after commercial, comes out of the ring, says, I want to actually show this crowd what true greatness is all about to start things off. So bring out whatever opponent Bischoff has signed up for me, and I'll take them out so quickly. Van Dam, you're going to have no chance, and you have to beat me in the match that I determined as the world champion. 69, just a quick little in-ring promo. As Jerry Lynn's music hits, and we have a fun little opener here. As, this isn't quite a squash, but, Kidman's the world champ for a reason. Lynn's a mid-carder that we wrestle in indie promotions for a reason. And this is a fun little back-and-forth match, but Kidman, takes advantage pretty quickly. It's a few big moves. Eventually hits Kid Crusher right in the middle of the ring, completely clean. And with nowhere to go, Kidman, the WC World Champion, gets a pinfall victory here pretty easily in about a little under 7 minutes. 1, 2, 3, gets a 70 overall. Kidman gets an 89. Jerry Lynn gets a 49, because again, but, Kidman basically then celebrates, makes a ticking clock motion with his fingers, and smirks as he walks away with his belt and April Hunter to the back as this gets a 69. Nice. And then we cut backstage, where we see Eddy Guerrero basically walking into the backstage locker room and looks at the chosen few and the Roman Legion, basically sitting beside each other, staring each other down. And Toro says, "Look, me and my men have been gladiator trading, ready to completely take out Charlotte O'Hare at Slamboree. And I'd be actually happier if I was with my Roman Legion, but I figure I'll do with you lessers tonight as we take people apart." And Jarrett's like, "What are you talking about? You've done nothing. I'm a former world champion, slapnuts. Eddy is a former world champion. You should be following us and be happy instead of your two dorks. You've got two former world champions on your side." Toro fires back, says, "No. And plus, I'd rather be with my chosen few because we're a team together and we have the same goals as opposed to all of you." And Toro fires back, says, "You may be world champions, but you're not the leader of an empire." And Eddy's like, "I'm here on my own because Growth Family Value says you fight on your own no matter what." So Jarrett, yeah, you don't got your boys, and Eddy and Toro, you do your minions. But tonight we're going to kick ass and show O'Hare, show Kanyon, and show Brother Rey this is still our show. There's a bit of tension, but they all agree. And 84 decent fun stuff backstage just to sort of build everybody out. And then we have another match as in a complete little brawl here. Titus Tomko comes out firing against Reno, of course set up last week, but Reno fires back. And, it's a back and forth, but Reno eventually is taking advantage, and he looks like he's going to get the victory after hitting several big power moves. But hey, what do you expect to happen? Ref gets distracted. Shane Helm comes in and actually drops Reno with a big super kick of doom, strolls out of the ring. Titus Tomko takes advantage, hits the big boot, hits him with a cutter, and in the ring gets the pinfall victory over Reno, which he was not happy about, but I'll give him some money because, again, storyline victories that people get upset over, I'm fine with doing money to get rid of, but hey, what can you do? Regardless, Titus Tomko gets a big victory here on Nitro in a little over 7 minutes with help from Shane Helm, as it gets a 64, Reno gets a 70, Titus Tomko gets a 34, 37, not a selling show because, look at these two, of course there isn't. And, decent match continuing this feud, but then as Helms comes in, basically set up Titus Tomko for a double team to truly get the beatdown. There's a pop as somebody shows up that has not been seen in months, as coming down into the ring is none other than Gigantes, clearing the ring as Helms and Tomko both hit the bricks as Reno helps Gigantes up, and they, rise up together, yelling at Helms and Tomko as it looks like another member of the Helms legacy is here to fight against his former leader. This gets a 61 as, Gigantes was in rehab forever, but now he's back and teaming with Reno, it looked like. So this gets a 61. Fun stuff. And then we have another match of sort of our quasi-beat the clock, and Rob Van Dam comes out and he's just a man possessed. Maybe he'd be a little more ready to wrestle Reckless Roberts, the former Reckless Youth, in a wrestling match, but he's just here for a fight and just take apart Roberts, and that's what happens. Robert gets a little bit of offense in, but it's basically all Rob Van Dam, and he just Robert gets a little off, but from there it's all RVD. Rolling Thunder, split leg moonsault, Van Dam up top, 5-star box splash in under 5 minutes, completely wrecks Kidman's time. 1, 2, 3. He also gets a 70 as Rob Van Dam gets an 88. Reckless Robert gets a 50. And then, big win for here as he's now gets to choose a step. And he, basically Roberts rolls out. RV takes the mic and calls Kidman out. And, Kidman comes out and says, spits it out and says, "Well, man, here's the thing, bro. There's lots of matches we could do. I could do a ladder match, but that's already happened with Saw and Anarchy. I was thinking about a cage match, but hey, Eddy and Kanyon just stole that. But there's one match to truly prove that, and to no question of who truly the champion is between us. No way, no how, whoever walks out after this match, nobody can deny they're the champion." And Kevin just spit it out. "Tell me how I'm going to beat you." And RVD smiles and says, "Well, RVD is ready to spell it out for you." And he puts up 2 fingers, 2 out of 3 falls, man. "You see, William, you can't get like that. You've got to beat me." the man who still should be world champion in that middle ring twice, and there's no way you're going to do that at Slamboree. Kidman fires back and says, no, it's going to happen at Slamboree. And after that, not even the most idiotic member of this crowd will be to deny I'm the world champion for a reason. There you go. Officially 2 out of 3 falls. And yes, we got a cage match. We got a ladder match with the Assault and Anarchy, with TLC match really. And now we got a 2 out of 3 falls match. So fun stuff. As this gets a 99 as well. And then we come back for commercial as the Deadpool's music hits. And out comes Miss Morningstar with Mesia seemingly back under his control. And then, Morningstar takes the mic and says, what happened was Mesia's ring. I went back to where Mesia was bonded to me, and I rebonded him, as I should have from the start. And now, once again, for a final time, he is my monster once again. Raven, you thought you defeated me. You thought you cost Deadpool something. But the message will never be defeated. And tonight is why. And then all of a sudden, choke slam! No! Mesia pulls up Morningstar for a choke slam, but as he has him up sort of like at the apex, Morningstar basically puts his hand down and fireball right in Mesia's face. Mesia rolls out as Raven comes down from the back to help Mesia up, staring back at him in shock. And Morningstar then takes the mic, sort of cackling and sort of in typical over the top heel way. The message warned me that you had done something, Raven, to make sure Mesia would not be back on my side. But the reality is, Mesia is no longer worthy. But someone else is. And he is coming soon to destroy all of you. So there you go. Sort of next step in the feud. Mesia is now officially sort of on Raven's side. He can't, Morningstar can't lock Mesia back to him, but now he has backup, supposedly. And he was ready for it. So this gets an 81, continuing this feud. And then we have our fun little tag match, in a way to get the, any way that sort of helps gets the cruiserweights over, as it's Austin Aries teaming with Kaz versus Matt Sydal and Jack Evans. And this is just a pure spot fest. Kaz and Evans obviously want to go after each other. Jack Evans is really popular as sort of our young teen bopper babyface. Sydal and Evans probably get some cheering, squeals from the crowd. Sydal flies around. Austin Aries gets to be he's more of a regular worker now. He's no longer Texas Flyer. He's your typical heel shtick, sort of locking it in. Kaz going from some kicking. But eventually, things break down. Kaz and Evans both end up on the outside, doing some fighting. And the ring, Aries eventually goes low on Sydal, picks him up, boom, brainbuster once again in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. He picks up the victory over the Cruiserweight champion once again. And a big match here, as this gets a 77, Kaz gets an 86, Austin Aries gets a 49, Jack Evans gets an 83, and Matt Sydal gets a 47. Fun stuff as we continue to build up the Cruiserweight division, and post-match, Aries makes the belt motions again, and it's officially announced after, in the week, that it's going to be Matt Sydal versus Austin Aries at Slamboree for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And yeah, I guess I can also officially book it. It's going to be Brother Rey versus Jeff Jarrett one more time. Title. There we go. All right. So this gets a 64. Fun stuff. Oops, I set up Aries not. Okay, that was my bad. And then we have Borash catching up with Reno Gigantes as they're about to leave the arena. And yeah, basically, Reno says, we were together in the Helm Legacy. In reality, says, yes, we were thankful of what Shane Helm did for us, making sure we stayed afloat. But he set us aside when he found something a little newer and shinier. We were always ready to fight. See, Gigantes, you want to call him Gigantes, you want to call him The Wall, you want to call him Jerry. He had to do his own thing and figure out his own thing. But now he's back. And now what you can call him is my partner. And Helms, Tomko, we don't want you two to prove we're your legacy Shane Helms, not you. There we go. Maybe it's set up for another match for Slamboree. We're not sure. As this gets a 61. Fun stuff as we're returning this little undercard feud. And then we go to the Babyfaces backstage. As, O'Hare's ready for a fight and Kanyon's like, I know, you got that weird liar thing going on, man, but nobody's better than us together. And tonight we can really take it to the SOBs. But you gotta be calm and you gotta be ready for a fight. And Brother Ray's like, no, I think O'Hare's right. We gotta fight brawl. Maybe Kanyon, you're worried about getting to the cage. in a couple weeks, but we got to fight. We got to take it to them tonight. And Kanyon's like, I'm ready to take him tonight, but we got to be smart about this. And her's like, look, me and Kanyon are former champions. We can lead this. Whereas like, look, I beat Jarrett at Slamboree. At Wrestle, rather. We can do this together, or we can do this apart. Her's like, no, look. I'm the future shock of this business. Kanyon, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And you're Street Fighter from hell, man. Tonight, we can be ready for anything, but we got to be ready to kick ass together. They all agree, and it's on for tonight. A big 6-man main event, as just basically putting it all over, as this gets a 95. And then we have Randy Savage coming out with Don Frye as he announced, basically Savage, brother. A lot of people were talking about what's going to be tonight. It's going to be another fight against an MMA fighter, coming from Japan, another big star. But no, tonight's going to be Don Frye's moment. Dig it? Because, it's not going to be a fighter, not a big star, but something that every wrestler truly cares about. Gold. Oh, yeah. So, this man, Don Frye, the apex predator of professional wrestling, is going to take that U.S. championship off Alex Wright. So Alex, get your German ass out here and ready to get beat down. So it looks like it's going to be Don Frye versus Alex Wright for the U.S. title. Next up, as this gets a 70, Alex Wright comes down with Tori Olsen, and the match is on. And, oops, let's actually hit that again. 70, not bad. And the actual match, is what I sort of expected. So, it is what it is. So, Wright, tries to bop and weave against Don Frye, but Don Frye, just beat up got the win over Bill Goldberg. So he gets to look a little dominant, throwing Wright around. Wright eventually tries to get some offense in. But Wright was, really he's going to lose. Frye locks him into submissions, but Wright gets out of it. Wright even gets a lock on the STF late, but Frye powers out of it. Frye does, another, MMA-style throw and about to lock him into a submission. But Wright looks like he's making it out of it, as Savage and Tori are both on the outside. But Bill Goldberg comes in from the ringside area and just spears the hell out of Don Frye as they're facing off, and the ref calls for the bell. I know, shitty finish, but, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. As this gets a 70, Frye gets an 81, Wright gets a 75, and, looks like this feud between Don Frye and Bill Goldberg is not over at all. And Wright just, sort of rolls out of the ring. And Goldberg is just going after Frye, he actually, Savage, tries to pull him off, but Frye pushes him away. Then we get, WC officials coming down and start breaking apart, and Frye's Goldberg is just angry as hell, wanting to take apart Frye, before WC officials officially finally calm him down, and walk to the back as he just points to Frye and says, "You're next still." And that's also signed for Slamboree officially. One more time, Bill Goldberg versus Don Frye. There you go for that. And it's time, first we have the Revolution recap, focusing on AJ Styles versus Monty Brown. And then it's time for our actual main event. Which, let's see here. What hurt this? So Frye, so Toro is 12 under, but then 8 under, even, 1 under, 8 over, 12 over. So Scott Hudson probably hurt it by a point or two, but yeah, so not that end. But anyway, so this is your very typical main event 6-man, 6 top guys, all going after each other. We have sort of moments for everybody. Hair and Toro brawling, Guerrero trying to get the win over Kanyon, go for the Canyon Cutter on Guerrero, Jarrett and Brother Rey brawling, both the Roman Legion and Tourism View getting sent to the back. Then we sort of some mix and match, Toro going after Cam, McCann going after him, Brother Rey and Toro brawling, Eddy and O'Hare fighting off against one each other again, then Jarrett and O'Hare, and eventually things break down. Brother Rey gets Jeff Jarrett over to the outside. They brawl into the crowd because it's Jeff Jarrett in the mid-2000s. Of course, he loves to brawl in the crowd. Kane eventually goes after Eddy, and they brawl to the top of the ramp. And then Toro is able to hit O'Hare with a chair shot, go low, hit him with his own version of the Widowmaker, then hit the Roaring Elbow to get the pinfall victory in a big moment. And sort of Toro has a chance, but now results put over, there's going to be no pinfalls in the Gladiator match at Slamboree. So Toro still hasn't proved he can actually make O'Hare surrender or knock him out. But 84 overall. Brother Rey gets an 88, Kenny gets a 93, O'Hare gets an 83, Jarrett gets an 88, Toro gets a 92, Toro gets a 72, and a big win for Jonathan Toro to end the show. And overall, we get us a 89. So really good show, really fun stuff. Officially all the promos and building up the matches. So there you go. So we'll just have to see what we have as far as, let's see here. Loading up. Loading still. Got all the loading here. We'll see what they did for Raw. I'm going to guess probably some random tag match that got 100. So, a couple quick notes. So, Jimmy Yang is back with us for 2 more years. I figure that's a way to see if he actually becomes a star or if he just needs to be go to something else. And Jeff Jarrett comes back for a huge contract of $200,000 per month, 200 signing bonus, 4 years. Yeah, this is just, he's here. And that's some spoilers, but hopefully that shouldn't be too surprising. Let's see here. Anything really of note? Nathan Jones is retiring. Okay, I don't care. So Raw, Raw had an 89 also. So let's see, Veronica Vane versus Cherry Slice. Big Show promo, Jericho promo, Street to the Suburbs, which is Homicide and Kendrick, whose name I forgot I did. Over Funaki and Spike, so that's interesting. Some issue for them. Benoit defeating Scott Vick. Only Holly and Ivory defeating Quinn Amber James in a 79. Kurt Angle going over Maven. Top Shelf defeating Orton Bum Grind in 87. And then Taker and Lesnar defeating Jericho and Triple H in another random 99, because of course it was. Let's see here. So yeah. Terry Taylor thinks Swinger's going to be star. Well, maybe. Morningstar. Oh, they both? Maybe I should push this guy. Rikishi extended his deal. I didn't give him a square contract. Monty Brown's injured, like that, Revolution building for a few days. Excalibur is now a regular wrestler instead of a luchador. There's something else I was going to show you guys, and now I'm completely blanking on it. Oh, right, ratings-wise, it's here. So Nitro, we had 2.08 million, and Raw got 2.36. Okay, so not bad. But yeah, nothing, too shocking here. TEW, Thrasher versus Balls Mahoney, sure. Profit versus Don Montoya. That's not our Profit, that's a different Profit. The Miz is still in the Indies. Yeah, I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. Alright, folks, it's time for a big Revolution show as we're continuing on the road to Slamboree live from Columbus, Georgia. So let's get rolling. I start show with the announcers putting over a big 8-man tag tonight, as it's going to be Chuck Palumbo and the triumvirate of Kidman, Storm, and Awesome taking on the 8-man team of Rey Jr., Booker, and the tag team champions, America's Most Wanted. This gets a 71 as we run up to the ring for our opening match, which is sort of a split off of what happened during last week's show, as we have the team of Keenan Sharp and Jamie Noble team take on Ken Anderson and the Television Champion Truth. Fun match back and forth. Ken Anderson gets to do his brawling and his pro style. Truth gets to do, his fun stuff. Hits the axe style kick, Truth consequences, but Noble fights out of it. Noble and Anderson, of course, go after each other a lot. Sharp tries to get his shots in with his Muay Thai kicks and trying to lock in Truth in submissions to possibly earn himself a shot at a title shot. But back and forth match, but eventually, Noble is in the ring. He hits a low blow on Anderson, rolls through, hits a big sort of Chaos 3 style German suplex, puts his foot on the ropes to keep advantage, and actually gets the pinfall victory over Ken Anderson in a little under 12 minutes here, in a really solid opener, actually a lot better than I expected. I expected low 70s for this. It gets high 70s, and a huge win for Jamie Noble and Keenan Sharp, as Noble gets an 84, Keenan Sharp gets a 72, Truth gets a 76, Ken Anderson gets a 75, and post-match, the heels celebrate as the announcers put over, this still isn't over between Jamie Noble and Ken Anderson. Then we go to the backstage area where Amy Weber is with the heel team of Palumbo, Storm, Awesome, Kidman, of course the April Hunter, and Raven Rain. Also there, sort of staring daggers at each other. And Amy asks, Kidman, yes, you're the world champion, but Chuck Palumbo still thinks he runs Revolution, and he's going to be the leader of the show. And Kidman says, he's the champion for a reason, and he has all the respect in the world for Palumbo as he looks him down, but this gold means something no matter what you think. And Finlay fires back, yes. Yes, I'm well aware of why you're champion, Billy. But tonight's not about that. That time about that will come soon enough. Tonight's about reminding Booker that he's yesterday news, but this is still his show. He's got the hottest old lady on the show. He's got the hottest woman on the show. He has the most talent. And it's his revolution that's going to be leading the way. Kidman sort of smiles at that as he, keeps April Hunter in frame as they can look like stare daggers at each other. Because again, heels can't get along, faces can get along, which should be how it goes. Regardless, Kim says, tonight is about just reminding everybody why after Slamboree, we're going to have all the gold that matters. I'm going to be still the world champion. Storm will be tag team champions, no matter who's unhappy about that. So there you go, 94. Again, heels can't get along, big 8-man tag. Palumbo wants to be the star of the show. Kidman's the champion for a reason, and there we go. As we go forward to a fun match as Finlay, of course, who basically came out to challenge Keith Walker as part of the Fighting Pit a few weeks back, makes his return to the ring for the first time in a while, and gets a win over Trevor Rhodes, who's up from our Dev territory as we're in the Southeast, and just beats the crap out of him for 4 minutes, getting the knockout victory eventually, after hitting a big sort of just kicks the crap out of him. 32, not much of a match. Finlay gets a 34, Trevor Rhodes gets a 49, and that's basically the match, as Finlay, takes the mic and says he's ready for a fight, and calls out Keith Walker. Keith Walker comes down with Tori Wilson, and, Tori Wilson basically says, Finlay, Walker stares him down, and Tori says basically, he's welcome to face Keith Walker in the Fighting Pit next week, as she's happy for her man to have an opportunity to show why he's the toughest man in professional wrestling today, and why he's happy to lead him on to lots of glory. Finlay just sort of stares him down, and points at Walker and then walks away. And we have a match set up for next week as it's Fit Finlay versus Keith Walker on sort of the undercard here. This gets a 44. Again, this is sort of thing to put over Walker, obviously, but we'll see what happens next week. And then we have the Amy Weber going back to the baby faces. As first, Amy Weber asked Rey about his title shot, if he's worried about, facing Kidman possibly before he faces off Rob Van Dam. And Rey actually says, no, that's all wrong. Kidman was maybe worried about that, but here's the thing. He already talked to Teddy Long. He says he wants a title shot after Slamboree because he wants to face the real world champion, not the paper champion that currently holds the title. If Kidman somehow managed to pull off victory against RVD, he's happy to take the title off of them, but he'll also be very happy to take on our random a great match right here on Revolution. Pre-roll babyface stuffs, and Booker then takes Mike, says, he's asked about fighting Palumbo, both here in Slamboree, says, Seka, here's the thing. I have a queen, not somebody who's in the back of every back seat of the motorcycle, if you can dig what I mean. That's about Palumbo, why I've got 6 world title reigns around my waist, and Palumbo, you're still stuck behind your former partner. Seka, hate to play, hate the game, but you're going to be hating me after tonight. And awesome, Storm Harris step in and say, Storm, awesome. Sorry, but you're walking out of Slamboree with no gold. We're going to do our best doing that Assault on Anarchy match, but it's going to be Anarchy for a reason. But no matter what, sorry about your damn luck that we're not going to walk you out of those tag titles. And not my best work there, but sometimes I get simple around. This guy's an 84. Again, continue to build up the big matches, and of course the big 8-man tag match later tonight. And then get a random spot as out of nowhere, Alyssa Alexander is backstage, and Alli Danger just comes out of nowhere, just knocks her into the backstage area, just kicks the crap out of her for a couple minutes before looking down with a smirk and walking away. It seems like we've got a women's feud bouncing off the Gail Kim Celine Cartier stuff. This is gets 41 as just building up the women. And then we have our U.S. title match as Ron Simmons does his best, but he's on the undercard for a reason. And honestly, I probably should have never really signed him as he's was really past his prime, but he still does decent here. As this is a fun little match, Simmons gets to get some power spots in, maybe hit the power slam late and right to kick out. But eventually, Right takes advantage, hits a few big moves, hits a single arm DDT right in the middle of the ring, and gets a pinfall victory. 1-2-3 over Ron Simmons to make defense number 4 of his U.S. Championship in a big win here on Revolution. As this gets a 73, Right gets a 71, Ron Simmons gets a 62, but then out of nowhere, as Right is celebrating, Cash slips into the ring, attacks Alex Wright from behind, drops him with the Moneymaker. or no, dead level. There we go. And then he takes the mic and says, "This should have been my shot. I'm gonna get my shot no matter what." And then he walks away, like sort of like tells up the U.S. title for a second, then throws it back down on the fallen Alex Wright as he heads to the back, as this gets a 64, as it looks like we have a new challenger for Alex Wright. And then we head backstage for a interesting little thing, as first we have the social scene, which is, of course, Nikki Radcliffe and Annie Vidal, otherwise never known as Any Social, and Nikki Rocks, backstage, talking with Lyla Vivaz, aka Lacey, and Roni Jonah. Basically, they're offering support, saying, we could be in line for a possible title shot, but that's how it goes. But hey, look, we love the social scene, and even if we're not in a title match, we'll be happy to be down in the sunny shore of Florida, showing off and being up to the clubs. Roni looks at her guitar and says, "Well, I'm not for the clubs, but I'm sure there's some fun shows that we could go to in Miami, even if it's not maybe the type you want." And Lyla like, "No, we gotta focus on possibly the title shot tonight." Or it's like, I know, but it sounds fun. But then they both agree, hope you win tonight. Team up with Tricia Skye's a big deal, and be ready for Joanie Laurer. And they all agree, and they walk away. And then it's cut away. Cue Lexi James and Angel Fox showing up, and Angel Fox is like, Lexi sort of looks over Nikki Radcliffe and Vidal, says, "It's funny you guys are trying to play what you aren't. Like you snuck in here playing the good girls, but we know what you're really like. You're snakes. We saw what you did." And he's like, "Look, we used to be like that, but we're not. We're pulling a new leaf, and that's why I helped them out tonight. Yeah, you want our own opportunities to be great, but we're going to earn our opportunities, not do what you women have." Little Fox says, "Look, I understand what it's like trying to be a star, because I am a star now, and you two are two women thinking if you show off enough, and get out there in clubs, you can be stars too. But no, you're never going to be like a 21st Century Fox or Lexi here. So play your part. We know what you really like." They walk away as Nikki and Annie share a look as we head cut to as sort of building this up, because of course, social scene we're sort of heels in the territory, which is sort of we're implying, but not really pointing out because 99% of our audience hasn't shown it. But there we go, as this gets a 43. Fun stuff. Then we go backstage, where Teddy Long is talking with Celine Cartier, and Cartier points out that, she didn't beat Gail at the pay-per-view, but she lost to a DQ when Gail Kim nailed her with a title. And Teddy agrees and says, he's officially signed it, sent it off to the board of directors, that at Slamboree it's going to be her versus Celine Cartier one more time for the championship. And as he's saying that, Gail Kim walks in and hears it, says, "Look, I'm the head bitch in charge of this division and the top women's wrestler of the world. I should be able to determine who I'm facing." And Teddy's like, "No, you're the champion, but that doesn't mean you get carte blanche. You didn't beat Carte sitting here, so you get another shot." And Celine's like, "Yeah, you never actually defeated me with that belt on the line. You never pinned me or made me submit." Gail Kim's like, "Fine. I'll prove everybody wrong Slamboree once again and show why I'm the best women's wrestler in the world." And Celine's like, "That's how I want another chance to prove you wrong." So there we go. Officially set up for Slamboree. Gail Kim versus Celine Cartier for the Women's World Championship. And this gets a 93 because all the women's are pretty great. Teddy Long's pretty good, and Cartier's being built up. And then we have our 6th women's match, which is, of course, sort of set up as it's Joanie Laurer and the World Women's Champions, World Tag Team Women's Champion, European Disunion team take on Tricia Skye, Lyla Vivaz, and Rey Jr. And, basically, if it's Joanie Laurer in the ring and somebody who's not Tricia, she's throwing them around. They get to play, babyface in peril. Tricia Skye eventually comes in for a hot tag. Back and forth stuff. Eventually, Laurer throws Tricia Skye. She's out of the ring. She goes after her. They start fighting on the outside of the ring. Eventually, back inside, there's enough of a distraction that Roni Jonah is able to hit Usyk with a big drop kick to the corner, rolls her up in a rolling reverse cradle. Colt comes in for the save. Vivaz jumps in and sort of hits a big spear to knock her down. And 1, 2, 3, Vivaz and Joanie get another big win over the women's tag champs, as this gets a 73, as they get the big win here as Tricia and Joanie Laurer continue to fight. 73 overall. Colt gets a 75. Usyk gets a 58. Joanie Laurer gets an 85. Roni Jonah gets a 37. Lyla Vivaz gets a 42. And Tricia Skye gets an 84. And post-match, they continue to fight. And eventually, Tricia sets Joanie Laurer up and hits the sky's the limit through a ringside table. The cheers of the crowd. As the announcers put over what a huge match it'll be at Slamboree between these two women, two of the top women's wrestlers in the world. As it gets a 99 because they're both great and both quite over. Fun stuff. Then we cut backstage where Amy Laurer has caught up to ask Tori Wilson now. It's right. Laurer asks what happened here. As Tori sort of like bastard says, all Cash had to do was ask. And I have no problems with title chances for my clients. And I'm confident that Alex Wright could have defeated him. But we've talked to Teddy Long and the match is on for Slamboree. So Cash, you've earned your title shot. But I hope you're ready for it. And then Wright steps in and says, look, I usually let Tori handle things. But Cash, I faced you before, and we've had good matches, great matches even. But now you've attacked me for no reason. In a little over a week. Me friend, I'll enjoy tearing you apart around every way. I'm the United States champion, and you're not. It's a solid promo as it's officially set up here for Slamboree. Alex Wright versus Cash for the United States Championship. Back at the 67, then it's time for our main event, which hopefully... Oh, right. First, we have our Nitro recap focusing on the RVD Kidman matches, except the 2 out of 3 falls. And then it's time for our main event, which gets us... Ooh, 84. Okay. Wait, what? Why is Chris Harris unhappy? Wait, I'm just confused why Chris Harris is unhappy. Okay, regardless. A very fun thing as it gets an 84. Yeah, just back and forth match. Again, I'm going to double check why Harris... Is he still upset about doing a drop a while back? I'll have to double check that. Anyway, really interesting. Like, it's like this is a typical, very typical 8-man tag main event. Yielding storylines before, like Triumvirate get to look strong as he sort of like will team. Well, Palumbo gets his shots in. Eventually, Booker goes after Palumbo. Everything like sort of not quite falls apart, but everybody's going after each other, fighting. Kidman tries to Kid Crush on Rey Jr., but Rey actually gets out of it. He actually springboard Hurricane for a near fall, but eventually, Awesome comes in, throws Rey Jr. around. America's Wanted come in, well, mostly James Storm, it appears, gets Chris Harris wanted performance, but they eventually brawl between Awesome and Storm. Storm tries to hit a super kick and hits it, nails it on Chris Harris, but then Rey Jr. makes a save, things continue to break down. Eventually, Booker locks Lane Storm, hits him with the bookend right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, and a big victory for the babyface team over Kidman, Palumbo, and Awesome Storm. This gets an 84. Palumbo gets an 89. Awesome gets an 88. Kidman gets an 89. Storm gets an 84. Rey Jr. gets a 94. Harris gets a 68. Storm gets a 78. Booker T gets an 88. Deserve better announcing and a color commentator, but what can you do? And then post-match, Palumbo and Booker continue to fight. And what actually happens, as sort of been built up, is both women get involved, and eventually there's a cat fight between those two to the cheers of the male crowd for obvious reasons. But then Booker and Palumbo continue to fight up to the top of the ramp. And Palumbo does take the advantage, and he's able to hit Booker T with the full throttle on the top of the ramp to the boos of the crowd. As Raven Rain then, because again, this is 2005, strips Charmel and leaves them both laying to the boos of the crowd as it gets a 99 to end things out. And overall, we get an 88. So solid stuff. Again, fun stuff, getting the women involved, having a big main event. I'll have to double check Harris just what he's upset about because I'm kind of confused about that. But yeah, fun stuff. Solid show, a lot better. Hopefully that'll make our networks happy that we didn't have a bad show again. But let's see what happens here as we build things up, or we let things roll through here. Survey says... Loading. Gotta love. Mason Rage. That feels like the most indie-rific name from the early 2000s that you can possibly have. Alright, let's see here. We had... I'm sure you thinks music is a star. I mean, yes. Tristan Liger. Interesting. So, 3CW... Yeah, I don't care about those folks. Alright. Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah, he's like 17, I think. He's a stupid. And again, I'm not going to hire people, really, when they would be not on anybody's radar at all. But yeah, so here we go. Again, if we look at our storylines, Against the Darkness, that at 77. Chosen Backgrounds, which is Brother Rey versus Jarrett, is at a 79. Cruiser Stuff's at a 72. Frye Goldberg's at a 74. Evolution Mysteries at an 80. The Heart Legacy versus Kaz and Yang feud's at a 77. Helms is at a 61. O'Hare Toro's at an 84. Eddy Canyon's at an 86. Kidman Van Dam's at an 88. Beautiful Violence is at a 48. Bright Cash is at a 51. DC Order Disorder is at a 57. Noble Anderson's at a 77. Revolution Rising's at an 83. Triumphant Rising's at an 89. Carter Kim's at an 83. And Lawler Sky's at a 76. Then pre-booking again. Just to go over sort of the card as it stands. We got Alex versus Cash for the U.S. title. The four-way Assault on Anarchy match for the tag titles between AMW, RLC, Ninkyo, and Awesome Storm. Goldberg versus Frye one more time. Kidman versus Arv Van Dam in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the World Championship. Booker versus Palumbo. Brother Rey versus Jeff Jarrett. Eddy versus Kanyon in a cage heat match. Gail Kim versus Celine Cartier for the Women's Championship. Sal versus Aries for the Cruiser Championship. O'Hare versus Toro in a Gladiator match. And Tricia Skye versus Joanie Laurer one-on-one. I do believe that's the full card. I'll have to triple check, but there we go. Oh, then, if we look at what SmackDown has done, what do we do with SmackDown? So, they had a 893. They opened up with Steiner DB Hall defeat Divine Dwight in Street to the Suburbs in an 80. Brock Lesnar killed Scott Fick in an 85. Angle defeated Maven in an 85. Molly Holly defeated Rock Vane in a 90. Big Show defeated Scale. Yeah, Big Show killed Air Paris in a 91. Sure, Kane defeated JBL in a 91. I can't remember they turned JBL face, which is just hilarious. And Undertaker beat Blake on the tables match at a random 98, because of course it was. Again, if we look at our DevFed, NWA Wildside, where are you, my friends? There we go. Okay, so they had their TV show from Mid-South, so those ratings don't even matter. They had Final Verdict, which had JC Daz versus Matt Morgan. Morgan's still getting there slowly. We had Tony Jones and Ryan Drago defeat Rain Man and Matt Cross. Again, those guys are still being built up. Kijin Kawada, Siaki, and Kent Cole. Again, this is all Mid-South as well, so actually these don't matter much. Yeah. Then for weekly hour show stuff, yes. Okay, we said Matt Cross being Ryan Drago. Cross is almost there. We had JC Daz versus Bobby Lashley. Again, Bobby Lashley's slowly being built up. Rick Michaels versus Dagon Briggs. Tony Jones, Trevor Rhodes, Stone Mountain to beat Howard, Siaki, and Rain Man. Again, Siaki could be up there soon. Trevor Rhodes is also getting there. Other guys, not so much. Ken Cole defeated Adam Ortiz and Kento Suzuki. Cassidy Kai Graves in a 61. We had TNT defeat Lazarus and Claudio. And then Jimmy Murray versus Chance Profits. So there we go. That's for that for us. Then America's Women's Queen. For our weekly show, we had ODP and Michelle McCool defeat Madison Eagles and Amazing Kong. All these women are being slowly built. We had Annette Blanchard, who's a regen with some decent skills. Big thing is sex appeal, some star quality, okay charisma microphone, not much as far as in the ring, but what can you do with that? And Becky Bayless and 100% Girls defeating Tracy Trailer and the Mega Women. So there we go. We had Millie Osaka defeat Tracy Brooks and Ariel in a cage match in 65. Again, Ariel, and what if I had a spot for her, she would up there, but what can you do? And Desire defeat Madison Sinclair in a cage match, which got a 47. So there we go. And then if we go back to the HWA, they had a weekly show. Let's see here. What else do we even care about? Yeah, really not much. So they had their Hellhole show for 1,500 people in the Great Lakes. Cyber Squad defeated Excalibur and Alex Shelley. Again, Adam Pierce, BJ Payne, sure. Joel Grunge defeated Drew Onyx. Drew Onyx, of course, person who used to be on our roster before I let him go. Joel Grunge is a regen. And he Ghost Rocker Romero, Ricochet Payne defeated Corey Castle and Club Deluxe by countout. Roy Estrada, Dustin Lee, but Willie Bax. Fali Bala defeated Andre Scherer. Andre Scherer is another regen. Kevin Vu's another regen who's getting there slowly. So yeah, nothing too exciting. Same thing with OVW. Again, it's a really getting a little bit more interesting. Samoans, which might be an interesting team to bring up. Ekmo Fat 2 and Chemo versus John and Ken Russ Haas. Trick Taylor defeated Rory Fox. Too Tough 20 defeated Shaggy Jubo. Mafia won a match. Trent Baker defeated Mitch Page. Okay. Ryan defeated Charlie Haas in a 68. Chen Taylor defeated Lizzie Borden. Bradley and Pewter defeated Conway and Mamluk to retain the tag titles. And Jerry Matthews defeated Danny Doring. Then we had a big show for them. So let's see, batches of note. Shaggy Judo versus John Cena, because of course. Starstock versus AJ Sparks by countout. Starstock's like really close. Miss Natural versus Evelyn Chambers. A-Spot versus Chemo and Two Duff Tony. Joey Ryan versus Chuck Taylor. Trent Baker and Danny Doring versus Charlie Haas and Mitch Page. Sure. Honestly, Haas is close to being brought up, I think. Then Taylor defeated Borden again. Then Bradley and Peter defeated Conway and Mamalik to retain the tag titles in the main event. And yeah, interesting for all these. Like Rob Conway is a guy who like might be brought up, but that's about it. Then again, I always forget what was the news of the day. So if we look at the news as far as events, let's see here. Anything really of note? Integrity, which are, again, if you don't remember, is sort of our ROH replacement since Ring of Honor got takeover in this game by Rob Black and Vince Russo. So for this, we have Vito Tomaselli and Shane Storm defeated Amelie Cortez and Brian Gamble. Amelie Cortez is a regen. We have Darkness Crabtree versus John Moxley. Sure. Bobby Quance versus Davey Richards. Jolly Roger versus Incognito. Brian Logan versus Buzz McKenzie and Peter Goodman. John Waters versus Rocky Romero. Matt Striker and Taylor Bateman versus Doug Basham and John Phoenix. Rorschach, David Young, Jerry Lynn versus Marcus Miltech and Future Shock, which I believe is, BG Wimmer and Logan Kane. Tony Guzina versus Lash Shenigan, and Shane Ballard and Mark Merrow versus Gallery and Shane Ballard. So the interesting thing is, like, a lot of the actual indie scene of this time is already, like, up even either in big shows in Japan or signed by me or signed by, like, Noah, like Samoa Joe is. WC had their big show. Main event was Ray Gonzalez versus Kali Colon. El Bronco versus Buff Bagwell. Thunder Lightning versus Evening Express, which is Apollo and Shane Sewell. But yeah, not really much. Ice Train's there. But yeah, if I'm going around, yeah, not much else of note. So, again, like we're slowly getting there. It's a solid show here as we're continuing to build up to Slamboree. We got the go-home shows next up, and then it'll be actually be time for Slamboree. But that's for now. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking, and of course, have a channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, including this series, my Ring of Honor 2022 series, where Cody Rhodes took over as owner of Ring of Honor, and my New Japan 2004 series, now holding to Wrestle Kingdom. But that's it for now. Talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.